Hey guys, it's JJ. Welcome back to the DC State Dynasty, where we have just finished a very successful season. We won the Big Ten championship game. We made it to the playoff for the first time and at the 1 seed at that, but we lost against Georgia. So during the playoff run, we had to hire a couple of new coordinators, because both of our guys left the building. So we recruited these two guys, and yeah, we're gonna go over the schedule real quick. We've got Navy first. We won that game pretty handedly. It was honestly not a big deal. We handled the Virginia game pretty well. Purdue was a blowout, and then for some reason we started to struggle against Old Dominion, who had a pretty awful season overall, but they played a pretty solid game against us. But we did win in the end. We won against Minnesota pretty handedly. We absolutely destroyed Illinois. We did win against Penn State. There was the gauntlet, the midseason gauntlet. Penn State was actually not a bad game for us. And then we lost to Ohio State real bad loss there. And then Oregon was an easy win again. I kind of was shocked. I thought we were gonna be blown out by Oregon, but they handled it. The team handled it pretty well. And then we blew out Maryland, which was pretty important as a rivalry game. Then we had Iowa and Washington. Even Washington was an easy win. And then Michigan State for some reason made the championship game, and we handled them in a rematch of our first win ever in this series. And then we lost to Georgia in the bowl game. So that brings us to the playoff. Now, after we lost, Georgia moved on, Appalachian State moved on, and obviously Georgia won that game, closer than you might think. And then Florida handled their business against UNC, and so it was a Florida-Georgia bowl for the national championship game, and Florida handled that one pretty well with a 17-point fourth quarter. So it was 10-10 at the end of the third quarter, and Florida absolutely blew them out in the fourth quarter. Now, we are going to go over the season stats for our players. Austin Westbrook had a very solid season, almost 2,800 yards, which doesn't seem too much, right? But we're running a run-first offense. We're also a run-second offense. Passing is like our plan Z. 28 touchdowns, 3 picks, very solid season for him. Dalton Ellington had a crazy good season out of nowhere. More than 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, no fumbles on the entire season. Great. George Garrison was the number 2 back, only 830 yards, but 10 touchdowns. He did fumble it 3 times though. McGinnis had a pretty awful season overall, and Westbrook actually led the team in rushing touchdowns. So Austin Westbrook with 11 scores, plus his 28 passing touchdowns, that was leading the team, obviously, and 39 touchdowns to 3 picks over the course of the season was really solid. For receivers, we had Isaiah Stockton go to 926 yards, 9 touchdowns. He was by far our best receiver this season again, looking pretty solid, that dude. We had Garrett Wolf at 775 yards. He was a first-year starter. 4 touchdowns for him. Hearns, 452 yards, 5 touchdowns. Stingley had 7 touchdowns as a tight end. He was more of a red zone slash move the chains threat. And then Halterman didn't get much to do. He lost his number 1 role after he didn't have a big offseason boost last year. Ellington also had 127 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. So in total, he had about 1,300 yards and about 8 touchdowns. So pretty solid season from him. Now, let's go to the defense. We had Dalton Boger and Willie Pounds fly all over the field with all their speed. No surprise there. Both are really good linebackers. And then we had 20 run stop, or like 20 tackles for loss, minus 7 sacks, 13 run TFLs. We also got 15 from Arnold Dozier. We got 14 from David Gavazza, and Steven Nizialek also got in there 13 times. Dalton Boger also 12, by the way. as a middle linebacker. That's pretty good. That's won a game, basically. David Gavazza led the team in sacks, 13 of them. Great story for him. We got Arnold Dozier at 9.5. We got Nazialik at 9. Newcomb missed a little bit of the season, so he only had 7 sacks this year. Hopefully he can bounce back next year. And then on the secondary, we had 4 interceptions for Trayvon Melvin. Dude was balling out this year as a junior. Let's see what he can do as a senior. With Baskerville with 2 picks, Manny Fine got 1. Pounds got in there. Boger got in there. Mandarino as a strong safety got 1. Busby got 1, the dime corner. And then we had Isaac York. His senior season was more of a disappointment. No sacks, only 1 interception, and no forced fumble from him. Pretty disappointing season for him. He's a senior, so that was it for him. 2 forced fumbles by Arnold Dozier. We got 1 by Mandarino. The dude's a hard hitter, go figure. And then David Gavazza, one of his sacks was turned into a strip sack. So good news for the defense overall. This was a very strong season defensively. Now, Dalton Ellington actually was the 2nd leading rusher of the entire country with 1,118 yards. Only 6 touchdowns, a little bit low, but we did give the power, the short stuff, the goal line stuff, we did give it to George Garrison. So not a surprise there. And David Gavazza, at 13 sacks, he was 3rd in the Big Ten. So not spectacular number, but remember, he's a defensive tackle, not an edge rusher. So that's why why this is a really good stat for him. For interceptions, Trayvon Melvin actually was tied for the lead in the Big Ten with 4 interceptions. Really excited about him being a senior next year. Let's see what he can do. I really want to see him break out there as a elite corner. Let's go over to the team stats. We had not a great offense, obviously. We had 14 games on the season, so we had a few hundred more yards than most of the teams that only had like a bowl game or anything at all. But we almost made it to 5,000 yards, and the way we did that is actually really impressive. So we had one of the worst passing attacks in the country. If this was sorted by yards per game and not yards in total, I think we would be even worse on this list, but we were one of the worst teams passing the football. I didn't think we had really the offensive line or the receivers this year. Now, we did lead the country in rushing yardage, and that is even against the military schools. And yeah, you know, Florida and Georgia, they made it to the final. They played even 2 more games against other opponents that we did, and even they didn't even come close. We were blowing everybody out on the running game. This is Big Ten football as I wanted to see. Points per game, 33.0, one of the top teams in the country. Can't complain about that. It's not the volume we had in mind for the passing game, but totally, like in total, the offense was really solid. Passing touchdowns, mediocre. I mean, 28 touchdowns, that's not bad by our starting quarterback. For rushing touchdowns, we were actually 2nd in the country. So for some reason, Georgia Tech was leading that statistic, but okay. I mean, we still got 30 of them. So there is not many teams that have more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns in general, just because it's a passing sport. But we were really solid with the run, and it was working all season long. Except when we played Georgia and Ohio State. We were blown out by them. Now, on the defensive side, we actually did have one of the best defenses in the country, and if that was adjusted for points per game, we would be even higher on that list, because we played a couple more games than most of the teams that are topping us here. Against the pass, this was, we were leading a lot, so teams had to pass it a lot against us, but this is still a good passing defense with those numbers. Pretty happy about that. We were more kind of average, but I think the numbers were a little bit inflated. Now, we were the best team in the entire country against the run, which is not very surprising. If you're leading most of your games, then people have to pass against you. But we still had a very stout run defense, even if you account for that. Points per game, one of the best in the country, yet again. We had a very good defense this year as well. Points per game, I think that's about 16, 17 points a game allowed. I'm very okay with that. We had the second most sacks in the season. Only Florida topped us, and they played 2 more games than we did, but even accounting for that, they probably had the best pass rush. 50 sacks, though, is really solid, and we had it across the defensive line. It wasn't just one dude blowing everybody else out, and we are having to rely on him. It was everybody. We had 4 pass rushers with at least 9 sacks, or 7, I think was the number. 4 fumbles, I mean, that's kind of average. 4 interceptions, well, again, kind of average. Nothing spectacular. I think our defense was relying solely on just pure skill, no luck on turnovers there. We're not really a turnover defense, and I'm pretty happy about that. If you rely on turnovers so much, your defense tends to be very volatile from game to game and also from season to season. It's just there's luck involved in turnovers as well. You have to fall on the ball if it's a fumble. Balls can get tipped and intercepted. So I'm really happy that we didn't have to rely on turnovers to still have a great defense. For conversions, we had the second best third down percentage conversion percentage of the entire country, which is crazy good. And on fourth down, we went for it 24 times, which is basically more than everybody else, and we still had an 83% conversion rate. Those numbers are absolutely ridiculously high, but it's also because we are a great running offense, and we tend to get in a lot of third and shorts, fourth and shorts, where it's easy to convert. We don't have a lot of third and 12s or something. Now, red zone offense, we were not as good as I had hoped. Only 74 touchdowns on 76. 47 touchdowns on 76 tries. That's not too much. And there were almost 20 tries where we didn't get any points at all, so that's great to see. For the defense, we were kind of above average, but nothing spectacular. One thing that is spectacular, however, is we only allowed 19 possessions that ended in scores on 38 red zone attempts. So that's a 50% percentage. That's really good. Turnover differential. Well, we threw 3 interceptions with Westbrook. We had 3 fumbles by Garrison, and that's it. Nothing else happened. So of course we have a positive turnover differential. Very careful with the football this year. We also got a record broken this year. Austin Westbrook for passing touchdowns this year. 28 is the new mark to beat, and with that we're going to be moving on as Austin Westbrook wins the 2029 Heisman Trophy. That is absolutely ridiculous to me. I did not see that coming at all. The sophomore breaking out here in his second season starting. Westbrook had 39 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. I think the low count of turnovers probably was very important for him getting that award. For Play of the Year, it was not enough. It went to Walter Ruggins, the quarterback from Florida. Westbrook finishes in 9th there. Head Coach of the Year, Alex Day, 9th again. Winning the Big Ten and then getting to the playoff as a 1 seed is not enough. You also have to go win something. But on the other hand, I don't see Florida on this list, so what am I talking about? For best quarterback goes to Walter Ruggins again. I think Austin Westbrook was just the Heisman winner because of his rushing production. Only 28 touchdowns. That's not too much in 14 games. That's 2 a game. That's not crazy amounts or anything. I think it's just because he also had 11 rushing touchdowns and his low turnover count. Best defensive player. This year, we didn't really have anybody to complete for the top, but Gavazza and Newcomb made it to the list. And Newcomb, even though he was injured this year for a little while there, the junior, hoping to have a breakout season this year. Let's see if that's happening. But best defensive player of the year is not our award this year. Best defensive back, on the other hand, is also not ours. It's going to all the Florida DBs and the Georgia dude. Mandarino made it in 8th. Well, I mean, he did have a solid season. He had a pick, he had a forced fumble, he had lots of tackles. He played like a linebacker in the defense at the back end as a safety. So I think it was a solid season from him. We had Manny Fine for some reason. I don't know why he made this list. He only had 1 pick this year. No, actually, I think he made 2. He had 2 picks. So why on earth is Trayvon Melvin not on this list? He had 4. Best running back, well, I mean, we did have a lot of yardage, but only 6 touchdowns is not enough for Dalton Ellington to make this list, so we're not on this one. Since we didn't have any passing production, there's obviously not going to be a receiver of the year for us. Best defensive lineman, we had actually 3 guys make the list as 7, 8, and 9. Gavazza, Newcomb, and Dozier. 2 of them are going to be graduating this year, and that will be the last we see of them for now, until I'm gonna open up my my Madden franchise when I bring all these players into the game, into Madden and the draft classes and stuff. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Best defensive end, Newcomb is 6th in that voting, and then Dozier in 7th. So I mean, that's not too awful. For this award, we actually had I think Newcomb won it last year, so sad that he got injured. I think he could have had an even better season this year. Best tight end, I mean, we didn't throw it much, and our tight end only had 352 yards, so that's not going to be enough. Best linebackers, well, I mean, we didn't get much in like interceptions or forced fumbles or anything from our linebackers, so nothing there. Best center, well, I mean, our center is like a 76 overall. Best punter, best kicker, nobody there. Best returner, nobody there as well. Let's move on to the All-Americans. National First Team All-Americans. We've got the quarterback from Appalachian State make it, along with his best receiver. We got a Michigan running back. We got 2 Michigan offensive linemen. We got the Michigan State tight end, George Chigazim. We faced him in the Big Ten championship game, so definitely remember that dude. And then Daron Cook as an edge rusher for Oregon. We faced him this year. That's good to see. We faced elite players there. We had Cordell Nix from Iowa. We faced him this year as well. And then Joe Mandarino. He makes it as the strong safety for the first team All-Americans on the national level. Crazy that we actually had anybody get there at all. Joe Mandarino. He's coming back hopefully for his senior season, I hope. But we'll see. Off season's a little bit away, but not too far. Let's see for the rest of the second team here. Nothing too spectacular, nobody that I remember. Well, actually, Hayden Haslam, the right tackle for Ohio State, we faced him. He was locked down. Did not produce much against him. And then the defensive tackle, Ethan Cager. Obviously, got to remember him. He was always a pain to face every year. We've been facing him like for 4 years now, and it's always been a pain. That dude is so good. And then for freshmen, let's see if we got anybody there. I think most of our starters were sophomores this year, so not too hopeful to see anybody here. But let's have a quick look. We've got somebody, actually. We have Willie Pounds, the linebacker, make it. And he looked really solid this year. He's just a freshman, right? So he's going to stay at least one more year. I hope he stays 2 more. Probably not going to be able to hope for 3 years out of him. But this dude's phenomenal against the run. Now, let's move on to the Big Ten. We have Austin Westbrook as the Big Ten first team All-American quarterback. I mean, well earned. He had a great season, 28 touchdowns, 3 picks in a running offense. You know, that's still great numbers for him. And I imagine that this year we're gonna lean even more into him. Now, obviously, you've got to remember all of these names here on this list. We faced almost all of them at some point because, well, this is the Big Ten list. But yeah, we also have Joe Mandarino on this list. I mean, that makes sense. But also Ethan Cager again makes sense as well. Cordell Nix, I remember him. There were a couple of receivers that I still remember from Penn State. For example, Tommy Torrance, we faced him. And then Dalton Ellington, Big Ten second team All-American. I mean, that's a great story. He's a sophomore running back. He had about 1,300 all-purpose yards, so that's great stuff. And then the tight end, Josh McIver from Iowa. Remember that dude. We've got Ryan Hendricks, the edge rusher from Penn State. Melvin Paris from Oregon. Gotta remember Larry Finau from Iowa, the linebacker there. That's a lot of players we faced this year make this list, so that's always fun to see. But we also have the punter of the year, actually, or the punter, the second team All-American punter from the Big Ten. And then 4 freshmen in the Big Ten. Not a huge list, not a lot of names that I recognize as great players. But receiver Mike Hendricks for Michigan State, should remember him. Josh McIver as the Iowa tight end. We actually had a guard make it. He didn't even start. Don't know why he made this list. But I also still remember, obviously, Willie Pounds as the linebacker. He makes this list. Obviously, he's great. And we'll see him again next year, hopefully full strength again. And then Manny Fine, he was a freshman this year. First season starting as a nickel corner, looking very solid, doesn't have to play on the outside, he's a decent tackler. Very happy about that. Now, let's go to players leaving. This is where the offseason really begins. And we're gonna have nobody leave prematurely, a lot of seniors, and we're gonna start off with Isaac York. Our first 4-star commit, and the one player that I deemed as our first ever draft pick. He's not predicted to be drafted this year. Let's see. Arnold Dozier and David Gavazza from our D-line are going to be graduating. We have Alani Sio is not really graduating. He's just on this list, but I redshirted him, so he's going to be coming back. And then Jason Thompson, a guard. He was solid. Wade Scioli, who started a couple years early in this series, but was capped out really quickly, and he was taken over from by Austin Westbrook. So let's talk about him. Wade Scioli, 5'9", 170, the 1-star quarterback, scrambler. 96 throw power, and he still had some room to improve there. I don't know why he never filled out the rest of his caps, really. Don't know. So just didn't. And he was here for 5 years. He had 4 off seasons to improve. He was a very solid short accuracy passer, but he did have problems with interceptions. He had overthrows a lot of times, but in total I think he finished for about 5,000 passing yards, about 30 touchdowns and 20 picks. He also put up some rushing stats, not too much, but he was a solid runner as well. Wade Scioli is gonna be probably a career backup in the NFL, maybe a roster bubble player, I don't know exactly. But Wade Scioli never really was the plan from the get-go. He was just the best quarterback from the ones we had in the beginning, and then we got our 4-star in Austin Westbrook, and then he took over. Now George Garrison is also graduating, and I do not understand why he never filled out his profile. 75 overall. I think he could have easily gotten drafted if he had filled out all these skill caps here. He just never did. He never developed into anything more than a power back. He had a solid season. He actually had 2 solid seasons. He was our power back for a long time. He finishes his career with about 2,500 rushing yards and 19 touchdowns. He fumbled it 3 times last year, which was not great. As a receiver, he never did much. Finishes with 6 receptions for about 49 yards, no touchdowns. George Garrison will probably go to the CFL. I'm imagining, maybe to the UFL. Not an NFL running back type. Not good enough. Frederick Grossman is also going to graduate. He is a team legend, even though he's not going to the NFL. 6'3", 223. Grossman was a tight end that was the only good pass catcher we had in year 1. So I force-fed him all the balls. In year 1, our best receiver was like a 69 overall or something like that. Something really horrible. And that dude had 84 speed and could catch something. So he had a record 125 receptions, 1,602 yards receiving, and 8 touchdowns in that season. And then he followed it up with about half the production, not even half. And then he got benched because we had a couple better players coming along. So he's a legend. He's just not going to go to the NFL because he just got force-fed the ball in easy slant situations or something. Jason Thompson, an 80 overall left guard. He is going to graduate as well. 6'4", 297. Also, don't understand why he never filled out his skill caps. He could have been drafted. He could have been drafted a first rounder, I think. If you fill out these skill caps, I think you got a 95 overall player. He just never did. He started for 2 years and he had a very solid senior season, only allowed 1 sack on the entire year. Well, I mean, we ran the ball a lot, but we also did that in 2028, so crazy stat lines there, honestly. Only 1 sack allowed. That's pretty special. Not gonna go to the NFL either, just not good enough. He never developed his true potential. Now, Arnold Dozier, on the other hand, a former 2-star recruit, 6'3", 240, out of Washington, D.C., a hometown kid, a power rusher that got on the scene really quickly as I think a sophomore or something. Also never filled out his profile, but he was an 86 overall toward the end. I do not expect him to get drafted, but he will be a UDFA, I think, in my future Madden series. And he started actually for 4 years. Well, I mean, probably 3. I'm guessing that 2027 season he was a run stopper only. Now, he finishes his career with 17, 19, 25 and a half sacks, and actually 1 interception as well. He forced a few fumbles in his career as well. That is very nice to see. Arnold Dozier with a very successful collegiate career, and we will see him at the next level. We'll see how it goes for him. David Gavazza, he was the star of this defense this year. 13 sacks, led the team. A former 3-star out of Washington, D.C. So we have another Washington, D.C. player graduating. Never filled out his profile either, but 88 finesse moves, 79 power moves. Guy was a really solid pass rusher. 86 strength is not too high, and that 68 block shedding is pretty awful, but he's a great athlete, at least moving wise. He's really good. He started 4 years. He didn't have much production in his first couple years from the pass rushing standpoint, but he burst onto the scene over his last couple of years. Very solid seasons. Finishes his career with that is 32 sacks and a couple of forced fumbles, no interceptions. We will see him as well at the next level. Probably gonna be a UDFA. I'm assuming 81 overall. It's usually not getting drafted here. And then the last player we want to talk about here is Isaac York, 5'11", 214 out of Middletown, Maryland, a former 4-star zone archetype safety that I deemed as our first draft pick in the series. When we recruited him, I was already sure. And this guy never developed into much. Isaac York, 90 zone coverage, 99 catching. I mean, I don't even care that he had 69 tackling. This dude had 99 hit power, and he never in his entire career forced 1 fumble. 90 speed. He's a very developmental, okay athlete that technically has a lot of upside. A 4-year starter, and in total only collected 9 interceptions and 0 forced fumbles. That is really disappointing. In total, he had more than 300 tackles in his collegiate career, which is really cool to see, but his senior season was disappointing, and I wish we had redshirted him at one point so that he could get a real senior season. But he's gonna graduate. We will see him at the next level as well, probably as a UDFA. And then I want to show you a few more players that are gonna be represented as well in my next my next project, which is going to be a Madden project. We're going to start it off after this last NFL season, and we're going to start it off at the draft. And well, I mean, this is a little bit down the road, but players that we're going to see include here: Maryland starting center Keenan Ware. Very solid run blocker. His pass protection is equally good. He's a very good athlete. Nothing to complain about there. And 4-year starter. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you want to see. 6'4", 298. I think that's perfect center size. He will be pretty solid. Probably a day 3 pick at the next level, I'm assuming. Keenan Ware. Out of Harbor City, California. Now, the Michigan State Spartans, we have kind of developed a little bit of a rivalry against them. We won our first ever game against them in year 1. It was game 12. The last game of the season, we were 0-11 and we won against them. And then this last year, we played them in the Big Ten Championship game. So we had a few important games against them. Markel Wood, a guard, is their only possibly maybe drafted player this year. A very good run stopper, but an even run blocker, but an even better pass protector. A very solid guard prospect, and he was a 4-year starter at Michigan State, and he only allowed 3 sacks in that entire time. Actually, maybe he was only a 2-year starter, and the other ones he was a backup or something. And yeah, Markel Wood out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. You'll see him as well. Probably in year 3, I think that would be in the 3rd draft class of my next Madden franchise. Navy, our good old rival. Just putting one player in here because, I mean, it's our rival. We face them every year, and Chase Lewis looks like the best player to put in that draft class. Chase Lewis, 6 foot, 235. So a sawed-off shotgun, I'd say. 88 zone coverage, 70 man coverage. I mean, that's got to jump out on you. Lewis is very good in coverage. His pass rush upside is immense. The only thing he's struggling at is a run defense, and also he's not a great athlete. Now, dude started, from what I see here, I think there was a 3-year starter. He accumulated 0 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, and 14.5 sacks. Very solid player. And probably a late day 3 pick or a UDFA pick, we'll see. From Notre Dame, you will see a player that actually played for us. Gideon Omodu was a strong safety for us at one point, and then he transferred away to Michigan, and then he transferred again to Notre Dame. 81 overall is his graduation number. He's 6'1", 224 out of Washington, D.C. Sad that we couldn't keep him around. I think he would have been a pretty solid, strong safety. Never filled out his profile, sadly, but he might be he's going to be a UDFA player in that 3rd draft class from that franchise, from that Madden franchise that I'm going to be starting soon. Dude's not too fast, so I wouldn't expect him to be a starter in the NFL or anything, but he was a starter for us. Then he was on the bench for Michigan, and then he started a couple of years for Notre Dame. Collected in total 2 interceptions and 2 forced fumbles, tackled about 220 players in that time, and yeah, never had a lot of ball production because his play ball tendency is conservative. Now, from Ohio State, there's actually going to be a couple players you're going to see. And the first one is going to be, obviously, Ethan Cager. We have faced him many times. He has been a pain. I actually did not tally up all the sacks he had against us, but I'm assuming in total he probably, over his collegiate career, might have had probably 4 sacks and 6 TFLs or something. Former 5-star recruit out of Ashland, Pennsylvania. Cager is a power rusher at perfect size. I mean, what more do you want? He's a 5-star. You can see it from space. 91 power moves and 79 finesse moves. A great pass rush profile. But because that's not enough, also a very good run stopper with great athleticism. Probably gonna be a 1st-round pick, I'm assuming. Had started 3 years at Ohio State, so Well, actually, he did not have 4 sacks against us. If I look at those numbers, those are actually pretty low. But I still remember that he was being a pain against the run. We were running a lot into him, and I mean that physically, like literally. We ran a lot into him. And then the other player you're gonna see is Mitch Hager. He was a receiver that I recruited. He was supposed to be our first 4-star recruit along with Isaac York, but he decided to go to Ohio State. Hager is a very good receiving prospect that will sadly be a late round draft pick or maybe undrafted. Actually, he's very fast at 6'2". He has 94 speed. He had started 2 years at Ohio State. He accumulated about, let's say, 1,500 receiving yards and 18 touchdowns over his collegiate career. He never was the number 1 receiver at Ohio State, which I think makes those numbers a little bit more impressive. He's from Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm hopeful that we will see him at the next level. From Penn State, there is one player I want to show here. It's Paul Willingham. We faced him. He had a couple deep touchdowns against us in his games against us. Dude's a senior, a former 4-star out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 6 foot, 192, route running archetype. Willingham wears number 89. So I don't know, his size profile and athleticism kind of indicates Steve Senior to me, if I'm being honest. He's very good after the run. He is a great route runner, especially down the field. He has all his important catching ratings in the 90s. He has 98 awareness and 99 play rec, or whatever the other rating was. 95 speed. He's all you could want. The only thing I don't understand is why on earth does his number drop in his final season? I'm assuming that there was some sort of injury, but he finishes his collegiate career with 2,500 receiving yards and 31 touchdowns. Willingham was a dominant player at the collegiate level, and I'm assuming he will be a first-round pick to an NFL team in about year 3. I think it's the 3rd draft we're gonna do in that Madden series where he's gonna show up. Now for Virginia. There is only a couple players I want to show, an offensive lineman and the quarterback, Nick Rhodes. We face him every year, so we have seen Nick Rhodes a few times. He was always solid against us. We're going to start off with the guard though. 6'2", 281, a very light guard. He might have to move to center, if I'm being honest. I think at guard you need to have at least 300 pounds, if not 320. Josh Little is a quickness-oriented guard with not a lot of power, but solid enough. A decent athlete for the next level. A good pass protector, solid run blocking. He started, I think, 2 years at Virginia. In his final season, he had 0 sacks allowed. I mean, that's always nice to see, right? If you have a college player that has 0 sacks allowed. Needs to bulk up a little bit for the next level though. Now the quarterback, Nick Rhodes, the lefty, 6'1", 186 out of Germantown, Maryland, a former 3-star. He developed really nicely for Virginia. We faced him a couple times, and this dude has a cannon, 99 throw power. That is great to see, but his accuracies are kind of all over the place. I mean, actually, it's in the mid-80s for most of them, so that's pretty solid. His decision making is very good, and he's got more than enough speed for the next level. He started 3 years at Virginia. We faced him a bunch of times, and over his career, he had 66 passing touchdowns. 24 interceptions. I mean, that's a good ratio. And even rushing, he completed probably about 1,200 yards and 19 touchdowns on the ground as well. So in total, he had about 85 touchdowns over 3 years of starting. I mean, that's pretty good. Let's move on to draft results. And indeed, Isaac York is our first ever drafted player. DC State has one ever drafted player. It's a 7th round pick. I was assuming that Isaac York would go in the 1st round, honestly, as a top 10 pick or something. because his skill caps were ridiculously high. But the dude never developed more than just a couple skill points every offseason, so we had to watch that for a long time. Keenan Ware is going to be a 5th rounder. Well, I mean, I'm going to put him in the 5th round in that draft class. Where he's actually going to go, we'll see in the Madden franchise then. Now, the Michigan State offensive lineman, Markel Wood, he was not drafted. So he's going to be in the UDFA pool. For Navy, the linebacker Chase Lewis also did not get drafted. He's also going to be in the UDFA pool. And then we're going to move on to the Ohio State Buckeyes, where we have Ethan Cager, drafted round 3 only. I can't believe it. I mean, I guess he's just a run stopper from his statistics profile, however. But Mitch Hager, he didn't get drafted at all, so he will be in the UDFA pool as well as an athletic receiver that needs to work a little bit on his skills. And then Paul Willingham, like I predicted, a 1st-round receiver, probably going to be a top 10 pick. He looks unbelievable. Great starter. Very excited about him. And then for Virginia, both the guard and the quarterback not drafted. So they are going to be in the UDFA pool as well. And that concludes this part of leaving. Now, of course, if you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, as we have a commit, a punter. We are going to graduate both our kicker and punter next year, so we are recruiting. This is the off-season recruiting where you can also get transfers. I did not decide on going for any transfers. I do not like going for transfers. Usually you can't progress them at all because, well, I mean, they have to be transferring sophomores so that they get at least 1 year of more development. But our roster is filled out. We just need a few players, and we already got them this year. So, and there also weren't that many interesting players for us to recruit anyway. So, no recruits this year. Just a kicker and a punter in the off season, and that is about it. Corey Sharp is going to be the new kicker after Lanaboy leaves next year. Both Sharp and Uwoma obviously going to be redshirted this year. Sharp has 93 kick power, and that is the only reason I recruit him. No other reason. And here we are. It's National Signing Day. Recruiting is over, and Greg Slayton has elite development. Elite for Greg Slayton, the 6'5", 213 quarterback out of New Jersey or New York or whatever it was. We've got a running back, Kevin Medeiros at star. We've got Devin LaRue at elite, the 4-star receiver. I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Spencer Maddox, star dev for him. Our tight end is only impact, but solid enough, I guess. And then we've got a tackle here in Felix, impact dev. We've got another tackle, elite dev. He's going to be switched over to the left side, by the way. Jared Neal, don't need 3 right tackles. And this dude is going to be a guard. Nix, he's going to be a right guard. And then Whitworth, going to be the left guard. Then we have Clifton Campanero at star. We miss out on the defensive tackle here. We win because Karoma is even better. I thought Goodwin was going to be better, but Karoma has a star dev. Johnny Ellington, he's got star. Only impact for JC Sharp. We lose out on a 4-star corner, and he has elite dev. James Price, oh my god, we missed out on him. He's gonna go to Notre Dame. That's so disappointing. And yeah, then we had to recruit 3-star corners. Nothing spectacular. Star dev for Carl Kraft, the free safety. And then for the kicker and punter, nothing spectacular, nothing interesting. And that's it for the National Signing Day. We're gonna take a quick look at the top classes. And since we had a very small recruiting class this year, only 18 players, we finished at number 13. So that's not too high. There's also, I mean, we can't recruit a bunch of 5-stars every year, but we got at least 2 this year. So that's an improvement, very obviously. Now, this is gonna be done. We're at position changes, and as every year, I'm putting receivers at running back and running backs at receivers that are skill capped. And first one up is Heath McGinnis. Gonna be receiver for the off-season training, and hopefully he develops a little bit, as McGinnis has been a backup for a few years and not developed a whole lot. Isaiah Stockton, he's maxed out. He is going to be put at running back. This is something I do every year because if you're maxed out at receiver, I mean, you could be a good running back. Or just develop running back skills and then go back to receiver. So this is exactly what we do with Isaiah Stockton, since he doesn't really have a running back build. Next player up, Garrett Wolf, also maxed out, also gonna go to running back. And those ratings are actually pretty similar. 79, 78. Let's put him at running back. Let's see if he develops a whole lot. And then the next one is going to be George Halterman. I did this last year. It didn't do much for him. He's a 78 overall receiver. He needs to improve, but he can't because he's skill capped. Let's put him at running back. 83 overall right now. Let's see if he can develop anything. This dude is not a running back at all because he's 6'5", 200 pounds. He's very slim. He's not a running back at all. I just want him to develop at the running back position and then turn into a running back after the catch. TJ Proctor, former quarterback, now a receiver. Let's turn him into a running back. At least let's see what happens with him. Yeah, sadly, no room for him at quarterback. His skill caps were pretty awful there, but you can see it. 70 overall at quarterback for him. And then there's one more guy. We've got Charlie Hearns. I will also turn him into a running back, and he seems to be a pretty solid one. 84 overall. Let's see if it develops a little bit there. And that should conclude all the receivers. And then we've got a left tackle here, Jason Moreland. He's an 87 overall left tackle, but guess what? He's a 90 overall left guard. So I'm gonna put him inside at guard. We had just graduated somebody there, and don't worry, I have a plan for left tackle then. I think Moreland will be a better guard than tackle because he is 96 strength, and we need somebody in the run with that kind of power. I'm afraid his power is kind of wasted on the outside. Mac Hawkins, the backup center, will be taking over his spot at left tackle. And yeah, I think he'll be pretty solid there. It's an upgrade for him as well. But I think Mac Hawkins, he's not going to play a lot at center because we've got Andy Mayo at the moment. And I think that Hawkins might be an even better tackle than center. And then we are missing a center now. So let's put a guard to center. It's Gammon. He's kind of a little bit maxed out on his ratings, so let's see if center is going to do anything for him. He's also not the strongest, so I just wanted to test that out. And then the receiver turned linebacker, Avery Baguette, the Frenchman, he will be moving as well because he's almost maxed out at linebacker now. So we will put him at edge rusher. Dude, 6'2", 230 or something, a very light edge rusher, but he's got the speed. He was a receiver, so I know what I'm talking about here. Let's see if he can develop into anything as a receiver, and that's it. We're at training results, and Austin Westbrook got even better. Skill caps were raised a little bit by winning the Big Ten championship game, and he's now a 90 overall with boosts. Larry Tonga sadly did not develop a whole lot. He was a freshman last year. First off-season training for him, not much happening for Tonga. At running back, we have a 95 overall as Isaiah Stockton, but sadly, he doesn't really have the skills to play running back. TJ Proctor, 90 overall at running back, and I can tell you one thing. There's a difference between Proctor and Stockton. Proctor can do everything, and Stockton can only do the elusive stuff and receiving back. So, yeah, but there's a lot of other players that we had moved to that position, and there's just a few players that really didn't develop into a whole lot. So we're gonna go over that when we talk about the roster, but sadly Dalton Ellington still at 82 overall. That might cost him his starting role this year. No dev for him, even though he's not capped. Wade Huntley, the true freshman from last year, made a massive jump. He's now an 89 overall. Will Huntley looks like the starting receiver for this team. And we have Gage Hawker also making a big jump, probably about 6 overall or something, maybe even more, probably 9. I think he was 73 or 74 overall or something. Coker Robbins not making big jumps. Heath McGinnis, I think he might have even gone down, honestly. Stingley makes a big jump, 87 overall, the sophomore tight end. He had his first year starting last year, and he's gonna be even better this year. So that's great news. We had a good jump for Andres President. So that's nice to see. And everybody else, not too interesting. So we're gonna move on to the tackles. And boy, that's an interesting one. Mac Hawkins up to 86 overall. That was a big jump for the former center. Good decision to move him out there. I think he's gonna be just fine there. He's a decent athlete. He's got 91 strength. His pass protection needs a little bit of work, but we're a running team anyway, so who cares? Jason Moreland is now a 92 overall, which makes him the highest overall player on the team now, I think. And we had our freshman guard from last year, George Ivey. He had a nice jump, so he's going to take over next year after Moreland graduates. That's very nice to see. And that center, Andy Mayo, +6 overall, maybe even +7, I'm not sure. He looks really good. I'm really happy about this. And even Jake Gammon made a little bit of a jump, but not too much. And also he's a junior, so Jake Gammon, I think at this point, you might not see a starting role at any point anymore. Mike Meeks, he goes up a little bit as well. He's now 92 overall, and he was an 89 before this, I think. So that's a good jump. And then Shakir Parkey, just a little bit of a jump, 84 overall, now at right tackle. Pretty decent starter there as well. And then sadly, John Tabor did not develop a whole lot behind him, and as did Deion Trimble. So the rest of our tackle was pretty disappointing, but I'm really happy about the jump from Mac Hawkins. At defensive end, we have Avery Baggett with a massive jump up to 88 overall. Now, on paper, our highest overall edge rusher. That is unreal stuff. And we've got Cordell Newcomb, not a big jump, just like Isaac York. He's not developing into a full-blown first-round pick, sadly. Even though Newcomb was a four-star recruit when we got him. And then Josh Latimer makes a big jump to 84 overall. So I'm guessing we are gonna see him next year. Not this year though. We've got an 88 overall here in Mitchell Z-Man, and then we've also got Siaki Crook with a nice jump, and Dalton Graves also exists. So I think our edge group is really full of talent that needs to be burst. We'll see what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna have a few starters here and there. It's not just gonna be 2 stars. We're gonna have a couple starters in base, a couple different starters in nickel, or in the dime. I'm not sure. At defensive tackle, sadly, nobody made a big jump. Maybe only Oscar Toviesi, who was the starter at run-stopping D-tackle last year, so I think he's got that one locked down. And then everybody else kind of just stayed the same in overall, so that was a little bit disappointing to see after seeing David Gavazza go to the NFL. Alani Siao, he makes a little bit of a jump. He's now an 85 overall. He will be starting this year as well. Ray Lindsay, now an 82, so that's nice to see that everybody makes a little bit of a jump. Terrence Grime, though, he does not. Dalton Boger is a 90 overall, and a true 90 overall at that, so that's great to see. The ultra-fast linebacker, we will see him this year again, but I'm assuming at 90 overall he will be a candidate for prematurely getting drafted. And same thing for Willie Pounds, who is now a 90 overall with a boost, 89 true. I think there's a good chance he might declare early this year. Everybody else did a little bit of a jump, but not too much at linebacker. But the story is really Dalton Boger and Willie Pounds maybe declaring early next year. Trayvon Melvin's now a 91 overall. I mean, that's awesome to see. A former 3-star recruit out of Philadelphia. Dude starts for now consecutive, this will be his 4th year. I want to see him get drafted so badly. Trayvon Melvin is going to be awesome. Baskerville makes a little bit of a jump. Number 2 outside corner, Busby, and find the inside corners. Marquez Emery, yet again, a disappointing offseason for him. And then Rashad Ring and Quincy Battle, I guess they'll have to wait their turn. But we will see somebody get drafted here at corner, hopefully, in Trayvon Melvin. And then at safety, sadly, no big jumps for Square or Shore. So I guess we'll have to live with those two as is. But I mean, we already know that from Isaac York, so I don't think we have a big downgrade there. And Mandarino, also not a big jump, but we will see him get drafted as well. Proctor and Price pretty disappointing in offseason. And then our kicker and punter, I mean, nothing spectacular. Spofford is now an 83 overall. Maybe we will see him in the next UDFA period, which will be in off-season 4 of that Madden franchise that I'm going to start soon. Now we're at cuts, and McGinnis was the easiest one. And the next one is going to be Benjamin Thomason, an 85 overall. I think he would have had a chance to get drafted in this game, but like just realistically, dude has 85 speed and he's capped. No way anybody's going to draft an 85 overall, an 85 speed running back. That is just way too slow. And then let's move on to the two receivers. Still 9 more cuts. We've got George Halterman. Didn't develop at all in this offseason, so he stays at 78 overall. Not going to play anymore. There's sophomores and freshmen ahead of him, and the same is true for Charlie Hearns. He developed a little bit, +2 jump for him, but 80 overall, and there is freshmen and sophomores ahead of him. He's a junior. Not much playing time to see for him. Next one up, same thing again. Tight end Julius Huckabee. Not going to ever see the field, I think. Maybe except a blocking situation or something, but like in a 3 tight end set. And we've got Jake Gammon. Didn't develop much, and he will be cut here. He's a junior, and he's never going to see the field with Andy Mayo ahead of him. He's not the best guard either. There is better guards than him already. Maybe even some of them even younger than him. We've got a defensive tackle, Scotty Thompson, that didn't develop at all. He's a junior. He's never going to get drafted unless he made like a +10 overall jump next offseason, and even then there's a question of that happening actually. And then we've got a safety here in Alex Price. He's from Washington DC. I want to keep him, but he will be cut now. He's too slow. He's never going to develop, and the same thing is true for George Proctor. Also gone. So the last couple cuts were a little bit more difficult, but I decided to go with Terrence Grimes, a linebacker. He's just not fast. He's never going to develop into a whole lot more, I think, with Ray Lindsey already 6 overall points ahead of him. And then I decided to cut Matt Knighton. This was a tough decision, but he only had 6 more points until his skill caps were limited. So I didn't think he would have ever been drafted. And with that, we're going to be moving on. We're going to talk a little bit about the roster here, and by a little bit, I mean the rest of the video. If you don't want to see it, just skip ahead. But Austin Westbrook's going to be the starter. He is now maxed out after he had the skill caps a little bit raised, I think, from the Big Ten win. And Austin Westbrook, I mean, he is awesome. Just nice to see that he comes back. He's gonna be here for his junior season. I hope he doesn't declare next year, but this year we're gonna invest in him. There's gonna be a lot more running stuff for him. I want to throw the ball a little bit more. I want to do something different. Greg Slayton is a true freshman who's going to be redshirted this year, but look at those skill caps. Is that not hot? Like, geez, uncapped accuracy. Ridiculous. He already has 96 throw power, and he can get even a little bit better. So that's just crazy good. I think we're going to have a new franchise, or I mean in this team, in this game, it's probably, what's the equivalent of franchise quarterback? I don't know, actually. And then I decided to keep TJ Proctor at running back because he can actually play running back. He's a former quarterback, 6'3", 190. He's a little bit light. I mean, you would want to see him at like bulking up to 210 or 220 maybe. But he's a great route runner. He has very good hands. He can catch everything out of the backfield. He's very elusive, 81 juke move, 80 break tackle. That is enough to me. He has 98 ball carrier vision. He can truck and stiff arm a little bit. I mean, that's not horrible, but if you had, like, we're gonna see Isaiah Stockton in a second, he's not a running back if you look at his ratings there. And then Dalton Ellington, I mean, this was your chance. You're an 82 overall. You still had a lot of room under your skill caps. You didn't do anything about it. This is how you get your role diminished. Now, he still is a solid elusive back. His break tackle rating is pretty awful. He's also not great in power. But yeah, this is it for him. He's going to be a backup this year. Jason Stanford, just talking about him for a second because he will be our new power back. He's going to take over the role of George Garrison. Stanford has lots of toughness. He's a very strong running back with 90 carrying. He's not going to fumble it as much as Garrison, hopefully. He actually has some decent elusiveness as well. The break tackle ability is at 90. That's great to see. The only knock on him is only 86 excel and 89 speed is not too fast. So he's going to be a power back, but nothing more. And then just looking at Kevin Medeiros real quick, 6'1", 183 out of New Berlin, New York. An elusive back. He's going to be redshirted this season, but I mean, look at the skill caps. This is really solid for a 3-star, and I'm excited about his future at this team. I think in a couple of years, he might be a very solid starter if he develops all of those skill caps and yeah, actually develops into anything, which a lot of these running backs don't do at times. And this is our fullback, just talking about him real quick. 6'2", 227, a little bit light out of Baltimore, Maryland. He's a blocking archetype. You're not going to see him much this year. Not intending on running a lot with the fullback or out of I formation, but he's a solid blocker. His lead block is not bad. And I mean, he's slow. I get it. 71 speed. I mean, that's kind of O-line slow. But he's a good lead blocker. I'm fine with him. Wade Huntley, this is your new #1 receiver, 6'4", 214 out of Jersey City. Wade Huntley maxed out almost all his skill caps this year. He will be unbelievable, I believe. 97 release and great short route runnings, very decent medium route runnings. His hands are unbelievable. All of the ratings are in the mid-90s. And dude has 96 speed. Wade Huntley, everybody. This is going to be awesome. Isaiah Stockton. I moved him back to receiver because he's not a running back. He doesn't have the size. He's just small. He doesn't have any power. His break tackle is very mediocre, but he's a very solid route runner. He has great hands. He's a good receiver. Just not the best anymore. He was our best receiver for years now, but not anymore. And he doesn't have the running back skills to play running back. So we're gonna move on. Our other, he's gonna be a slot receiver, by the way. And the other one is gonna be Gage Hawker, 6'3", 195. Gage Hawker is a very solid receiver with decent route runnings. His hands are not that great. 79 catching is a little bit lower than what you want. But we have 91 speed, 90 excel. I mean, that's not bad. And we'll see him definitely out there. The #1 receiver from last year was Garrett Wolf, and he didn't develop much. A little bit, he did, but not much. The thing is, he's still a crazy good route runner, and I want to keep the skill set on the field. He's also a crazy good pass catcher. I don't know why his overall is so low, to be honest, but he's a great route runner. He has very good hands. The only thing limiting his upside is actually his speed, but there wasn't a massive problem last year. He's just not going to beat anybody deep, but I still think he can be a solid perimeter outside receiver. We're just going to take a quick look at our recruits from last year. Devin LaRue, he's going to be redshirted this year, but just know that he's basically uncapped. I want to see this dude reach 95 overall or something. Devin LaRue, really excited about him. I'm expecting him to be our Wade Huntley from next training. Basically filling everything out and being like a 90 overall after his true freshman redshirt season. Spencer Maddox is the other one, 69 overall, so he's a little bit lower rated. 5'8", 185. He's a typical slot receiver. And Spencer Maddox, basically uncapped as well. We'll see how he does next offseason, but from 69 overall, it's a bigger jump to make it to a starting receiving spot. So that's gonna be all the receivers we're talking about, and now we're gonna be moving on. Oh, actually, I had to mention something. 93 speed, 89 excel. He's uncapped there, so that might go up a lot. But let's move on to tight ends. We've got George Stingley, improved even more. Gonna be his second season starting. He's a sophomore. I'm actually kind of scared that he's gonna declare early. George Stingley, he's a blocking tight end. He's a blocking specialist, but His catching ratings are not horrible. His route runnings are in the 70s. And I mean, at least he doesn't have 68 speed or something. He still has 77 speed, 79 excel. It was enough last year to get him like 7 touchdowns or something, so why shouldn't it this year? And then the other one I want to talk about real quick is going to be our true freshman. He's going to be redshirted this year, obviously. Christian Fitzsimmons out of Kinston, North Carolina. A little bit disappointing on the skill caps. Don't think he's ever going to be a real starter, but I don't know. Maybe his skill caps are going to be removed by us winning another Big Ten championship game or something. I don't know. Not too excited about his skill caps though. So not sure if we're going to see too much of him. And then our left tackle, Mac Hawkins. He's a sophomore, so he can get even better. 6'4", 295 out of Washington, D.C. Mac Hawkins is going to be a very solid run blocker for us. He's not great at awareness, so I'm not sure how that's going to handle or factor into things, but dude knows how to run block, and his pass protection just needs a little bit of work. Sadly, it can't get any higher anymore, so he's done there. Still, I'm excited about him as a prospect. Jared Neal, he's going to be redshirted this year, just not good enough yet, but 6'4", 296 with elite dev and basically no skill caps. I'm expecting him to make a big jump next offseason, get into the 80s, maybe even to the mid or high 80s, maybe even challenge Mac Hawkins for his spot. We'll see. But Jared Neal, I think he's everything you could dream of when recruiting a 5-star prospect. Jason Moreland, our starter at left guard. He's going to be a first rounder next year, I think. 6'1", 285. He's very slim, but he has 96 strength. Out of Washington, D.C., 96 strength, 99 impact blocking. I think Jason Moreland is going to pave a lot of ways for TJ Proctor this year. He's a great run blocker. Even his pass protection doesn't really have any weaknesses. His awareness and lead block are elite. He's still basically uncapped. He could get even better from here. I mean, what more could you want from Jason Moreland? And then we've got Quinn Whitworth, 6'3", 313 out of Jamestown, North Carolina. Whitworth is going to be redshirted this year. I recruited him last season. His caps are actually pretty awful. Don't have too much hope about him. He's not a great run stopper, run blocker. I don't think he's ever going to be. And that pass blocking skill cap, that's absolutely horrendous. So I guess we'll see how he's doing after his redshirt season, but probably never going to be a high level or first round pick, hopeful or something. And then Andy Mayo, 6'1", 284, a very light center prospect out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Mayo is an elite pass protector, but even his run blocking is half decent. Very happy about his development so far. I think he's a sophomore as well, so lots of hope for him. The run blocking, 78 run block power is a little bit low, but other than that, I think we're gonna be set on the interior, man. Our interior is gonna kill this season. Mike Meeks, 6'2", 292 out of Baltimore, Maryland. Mike Meeks is a pass blocking specialist. His run blocking is lagging, not too far behind, but his pass protection is absolutely elite. I'm assuming he's going to be a first-round pick next year too, which would be meaning that we lose 2 first-round guards next season, maybe. We'll see. His run blocking, great too. Nothing bad to complain about. And then Skylar Nix recruited him as a tackle. Will be playing at guard, hopefully next year when Mike Meeks goes to the NFL. Skylar Nix has basically no skill caps. I hope he can develop nicely next offseason and take over in his redshirt freshman season then for Mike Meeks. Looks very solid to me. A lot better than Quinn Whitworth. And then we've got Shakir Parkey starting at right tackle, 6'5", 296 out of Altoona, Pennsylvania. Shakir Parkey is going to be a 4-year starter. He has already started 3 years, and now it's going to be his 4th one. Parkey is still not capped out. He could get a little bit better, but I doubt he'll be drafted. He's just going to graduate and probably be a UDFA at this rate. 89 strength is solid. His pass protection is decent. His run blocking even better. Nothing to complain about there either. Moses Felix, 6'6", 317 out of Washington, D.C. This is the kind of player I want to have on this team. Felix with almost elite skill caps. He's got a little bit of them, but I'm pretty sure if he maxes out his skill caps, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a first-round pick as well. Looking very strong. His athleticism is decent. He's got some fundamentals at pass protection to start. His run blocking looks a little bit rough, but very happy about it. And then we've got Avery Baguette, the Frenchman. He almost maxed out his skill caps here at edge rusher, but he still has some room. He's got 85 finesse moves. His power moves need to get a little bit better, but 88 strength as a 230 or something edge rusher, I mean, that's elite. And then he's also got the athleticism as well. His run stopping is good. I'm very happy about Avery Baguette. Cordale Newcomb. Again, a disappointing offseason for him. Still not even close to maxed out. And this is his senior season. So I will not redshirt him, but he's going to be the starter. He will be playing. I know that he's going to be solid. He just is. He produces every year. He's going to be a 4-year starter. Going to the NFL as probably a late day 3 pick. Crazy good athleticism. He knows what he's doing. He's going to be starting. Avery Baguette is going to be a designated pass rusher. Mitchell Zeman, on the other hand, is going to be a designated first and second down run defender. His run defense is absolutely elite, and his athleticism is just as good for the run. He's not a pass rusher, not even at all, and we will not see him in pass rush downs out there, so that's a little bit sad, but we're going to be moving on. Siaki Crook, also a designated pass rusher this year. We will see him a little bit, not too much I'm assuming, but Crook is a senior. He will see the field a little bit. 85 power moves, 76 finesse moves, so he can rush the passer a little bit. 88 strength is more than enough on the edge. His run stopping is not quite as good, which is why he is a designated pass rusher. Great athletes with some good power moves, but that's about it. And then we've got Clifton Campanero. Recruited him last year. He's the only edge rusher I recruited. He's gonna be redshirted this year, just not good enough. His skill caps are not prime, but I guess you could work with it for a little while, I guess. It's not a great finesse rusher, not a great power rusher. He's only a run stopper. I think Campanero and Zeman have kind of the same profile. A little bit heavier for the edge, but hopefully he can develop a little bit into his pass rushing ability. And then we've got Steven Nizialek taking over as the #1 pass rusher at defensive tackle. 82 power moves, 85 finesse moves. He's got enough power, and the run stopping is not there at all. So just a designated pass rusher again. Nickel is going to be his formation. Dylan McCaffrey, same thing again. Former 2-star, 6'6", 285. Very light for a defensive tackle. It's a power rushing archetype, and McCaffrey is maxed out, so he's not going to get any better. 82 power moves and 79 finesse moves. That's decent. Pass rush upside. He's got 85 strength. That's decent. But one thing that you need to know about him, his run stopping looks high at the tackle and pursuit ratings, but 78 block shedding is not good enough to get him in on first and second downs, or like in base personnel, I mean. Who is, however, gonna be getting in base personnel is Oscar Toviesi, 6'2", 284, a little bit lighter, but still 87 block shedding is by far the best we have on the team. 82 power moves, can even mean he can rush a little bit. 76 finesse moves. He's not a horrible pass rusher, so he's going to play, and he's going to play a lot this year. Marvin Carden, a freshman 4-star recruit from last year. Last year he was redshirted, so this year he's going to play because he is also a good run stopper. Second highest block shedding on the team at defensive tackle, so he and Toviesi are going to be the base personnel, and McCaffrey and Nizialek are gonna be the nickel personnel. Carden has a lot of room to fill out. He can not rush the passer at all, but that's fine. I want to talk a little bit about the freshman I recruited last year. Only one recruit at defensive tackle for us. Karoma, 6'2", 287, very light. He's more of a pass rusher than a run stopper, but I think with his, I think it was star or elite dev he has, I think he's going to be able to fill that out at some point and be a solid and reliable designated pass rusher for us, maybe even more depending on how he fills out his run stopping. But 57 block shedding is not even close to enough at the moment, and it will not be next year either. Alani Siao, we redshirted his true senior season last year so that we could have him this year. He improved a little bit in off-season training. 85 zone coverage. He's got some power. He's got some pass rushing ability. He can stop the run. He can do it all, and he's a decent athlete at the same time. He's gonna be the number 3 linebacker you see this year. Let's talk about JC Sharp, 5'11", 243. Kind of reminds me of Devin Bush, even though he's a little bit heavier than Devin Bush. I think he will be a fine run-stopping linebacker one day, but at the moment he is not playable at all. And he probably will not be next season either, unless he makes like a plus 15 overall jump, and maybe then it's going to be very close with other players, or it might not be enough. Decent athlete as well. Solid player. Dalton Boger, he's gonna be the number 1 linebacker on this team. 6'2", 239 out of Fort Mitchell, Kentucky. Former 3-star recruit, can still fill out a little bit more. His coverage ability is very solid, nothing to complain about. He has got elite awareness and play rec, which combined with his speed is just unbelievable potential. He could play edge rusher if he wanted to. His run stopping is decent. 94 speed, 94 excel. What more could you want? If he does not declare next year, I'm going to be shocked. Johnny Ellington is going to be redshirted this year. 6'2", 216 out of Rochester, New York. Ellington is a zone coverage, or a coverage dude in general, but his zone coverage is pretty awful at the moment. He doesn't really have much power. He has no pass rush upside at all, and his run stopping is beyond mediocre. The great thing about him is just the speed. He's a very athletic player, and I hope we can see that on the field in a couple years. Willie Pounds, 6', 243, a great run stopper with 88 block shed, which is kind of unheard of in the linebacker room. Willie Pounds, he will pound the run. He will absolutely demolish his opponents with his power. He has 85 hit power, more than enough as well. He's got some strength to him. He's a great run stopper with that block shedding and tackling ability. I don't even care that his zone coverage is only 77, which is not even that horrible. And he's got 90 XL, 89 speed, crazy good linebacker. I'm pretty convinced that we're gonna have a great season at linebacker this year. Trayvon Melvin, 6'1", 193 out of Philadelphia. Trayvon Melvin is an elite press man corner with some very solid hands, no run stopping ability at all, and some decent zone coverage as well. And he's basically CJ Henderson, honestly, with those tackling ratings. 82 zone should be enough, and he's got some speed. He's gonna declare this year. I hope he can do well. Maybe he's even gonna be a day 2 or maybe even a first round player. Let's see. Ben Baskerville, 6'1", 190 out of Philadelphia. Baskerville is also, he should be, his archetype is a press man, but he's a lot better in zone, honestly. He's got some solid hands. He's got enough speed. He's going to be the number 2 outside corner on the other side of Trayvon Melvin. Jimmy Busby, 6'1", 176. He is going to be your dime corner. A number 4 corner, he's going to be playing inside. His man coverage is decent, but his press 77 is a little bit low to play outside. He can catch the football a little bit. His run stopping is actually not abysmal, so I want to have that on the field and dime personnel. Zone coverage is decent, and the only thing holding him back is the speed, obviously. And then we've got Manny Fine, 6 foot, 183. He's going to be just fine at nickel. Fine was a former 3-star who has developed pretty nicely. He's solid in man coverage, but again, not great in press. He's got great hands. His zone needs a lot of work, but overall, Manny Fine should be a very solid nickel back. And yeah, that 69 tackling is not crazy good, but I'd rather have his speed on the field than Jimmy Busby's. And then we're just going to talk real quick about the 2 corners I picked up last season in recruiting. Leonard Hammer, both are going to be redshirted. Obviously, every freshman is going to be redshirted this year as well. Solid in zone, awful in man, horrible with the hands, and virtually not too much speed, to be honest, but it's enough, I guess. The other one is Tyler McAllister out of Washington, D.C., 6'2", 195. McAllister is a pressman corner with a former 3-star recruit. He has got 73 press, which doesn't sound like a lot, but as a true freshman, this is his best trait. He can press and only press, nothing else. His zone coverage is abysmal, his man coverage is abysmal, his tackling is even more abysmal. At least he's got 96 speed, I guess. McAllister will not see him this year either. And then we are going to have Nate Square out there. Square is a former 4-star out of Schuylkill Haven, Pennsylvania. Nate Square is decent in coverage. He's decent in the run support. He's got decent hands. He has a little bit of head power, but not too much. And he's got some pretty impressive speed. Kind of reminds me a lot of Isaac York, even though he's not really the 99 hit power guy. And then we're going to talk a little bit about our 5-star recruit from last year, Carl Kraft, out of Hilliard, Ohio. Kraft, basically uncapped. You can do whatever you want with him, but he's not fast at all. And this is the one thing that I would have liked no skill caps on, and he cannot improve that at all. He's a solid run support safety. You might have to move him to linebacker at some point if his coverage doesn't develop and his speed stays low. Joe Mandarino, 6'3", 230, still going to be the starter at safety this year again. So no move to linebacker for him. Probably will be a linebacker in the NFL though. 6'3", 230 is just not going to play at safety at the next level. But he's solid in run defense. He could have developed even more at that. His pass coverage ability is very solid, would be elite at linebacker, but is still very solid. And he does have more than enough athleticism to play on the back end there as a strong safety. And then just a couple more players to talk about. It's Donald Lanovoy, 5'10", 197 out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Donald Lanovoy is going to be the kicker again this year. He's got 83 kick power, which is very solid, I'd say. And then for kick accuracy, I mean 84, that's whatever. Don't really care about that. And then let's move on to our punter, Dylan Spofford. Both of those guys, by the way, are safeties. No, they're not safeties. They are seniors. And yeah, Spofford is from Washington, D.C. as well. We're going to be losing a lot of players from D.C. 84 kick accuracy, but even more interested in 89 kick power. That is really solid. Spofford going to be the punter again this year. And with that, we're done with the roster. Let's just take a quick peek at preseason All-Americans. And yeah, right at the top, you can see J.J. Stein, the receiver for Michigan. Probably going to be facing him this year again, so not too excited about this. Quincy Dwumfor, we know that dude from Penn State. And yeah, for the offensive line, I didn't recognize too many names, but For the defense, I also did not recognize too many names. It's a lot of players that have been recruited in the series, and I guess we'll know a lot more when we play them. Now, one dude that I do know is Anthony Dingle from Georgia. We faced him last year, and well, I mean that's not a great sight. For the national preseason All-Americans team, we've got a couple of Texas guys. We've got Alejandro Villa from Ohio State. Have been waiting for him for a long time. I'm assuming that this dude is going to go in the first round of the NFL draft as well. And then for the offensive line, don't recognize too many names. For the defensive line, not there either. Just not a lot of players to recognize here. And yeah, I mean, at least one of our guys did make it. So it's going to be Joe Mandarino. I'm kind of shocked that Dalton Bogert didn't make it to this list, but I mean, can't do anything about it now. Joe Mandarino makes it again. I really hope he has a great season this year. I really hope he has a chance to go in the first round, but he should be an NFL draft pick. For the Big Ten preseason first team, we've got TJ Proctor. He has not played a single snap at running back, and already he is making waves. Everybody's talking about him. We've got Alejandro Villa again. Man, I'm really scared about playing him, but dude is good. And then do you see all those Ohio State offensive linemen? Also defensive linemen, to be honest. We've got a lot of good players there. And yeah, Ohio State's gonna be a pain no matter what. There is even more. There is a couple DBs as well, because just having the trenches alone is not enough. And then for the preseason second team, it reeks of Michigan. DeMar Aguilar for Washington, recognize him. We have to recognize Terrell Waller from Penn State. We need to face him. Mike Vickerson, we tried to recruit him. He didn't come here the same year as Mitch Hager decided to turn us down. So Mike Vickerson is a dude we have to recognize. George McQueen for Ohio State. We've got two of our own guys, Moreland and Meeks, are going to make it as left guard and right guard. And then for the defense, we've got Terrell Chisholm for Ohio State. We've got John Durham for Penn State. Josh Santana for Oregon. Emmett Linenko for Ohio State. We've got Willie Pounds make this list. We've got Trayvon Melvin and Joe Mandarino. So 3 more players for us there. And Carlos Sendejo for Ohio State, man. This team looks stacked. I hope we don't face them this year in this next season. And then we're gonna talk about the schedule real quick. So as always, I try to schedule Navy and Virginia, and then a third team that's interesting to us because maybe somebody stole a player from us and then want to play against them. We've got Washington up first. That's gonna be a really tough game to start the season on. But then it's going to be Navy and Virginia are 2 fake rivalry games. And by fake, I mean it's rivals to me, but not to the game. And then Syracuse, because I want to see Hugh Bowling. He's a linebacker that I recruited. Not successfully, obviously. So I want to see him. He's going to be playing starter. So that's going to be fun. We've got UCLA. We've got Maryland, Nebraska, Illinois, Wisconsin, USC, Minnesota, and Michigan State. And there is no Ohio State, no Oregon, no Michigan. So, I mean, it can't be easier than that, to be honest. And we are ranked, by the way, number 3 in the preseason top 25 polls. So, just behind Michigan and Georgia. I hope we don't face them this year. And yeah, really excited about the season. We've got a lot of good players, and I'm really excited about expanding the role for Austin Westbrook, the Heisman winning quarterback. I hope we can do it again. And that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe for more DC State Dynasty. See you in the next episode. Until then, have a great day.